G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. Finally back with something new. There's a wee bit of a gap I think between this one and the last one, but yeah, I've been sort of juggling a couple of wee projects sort of at once, part way through one, and then we wanted to get this one done. So I could get over to get these guys that you see in front of you over to New Zealand for a game that my friend Mark's having in sort of early mid-December. So it looks like we're on track for that, and as long as the Australia and New Zealand postal services behave themselves, should all be good. So the figures you can see in front are once again Medbury Miniatures medievals. They're metal ranges rather than their 3D resin prints, and these are as far as I understand it, these are the last of the pikemen or guys from the Scottish Shiltron. So I've painted quite a lot of these. There would be a substantial amount of them in Mark's saga list. Now the character in the middle, I chose what heraldry to go on the shield, and basically the banner as well. So, but Mark gives me a pretty free hand. But what I've gone for, it's very distinctive, but it is actually based on Archibald Douglas, Sir Archibald Douglas's heraldic arms. Pardon, there's the dog's barking in the background. Could be a few noises in this one. So yeah, I might pause and see if I can do something about that. Hang on. Right, I've moved the dog. She's still been barking a bit, but yes, this is Archibald Douglas. This is his coat of arms from around the time of the Battle of Otterburn. So it's the best I could do freehand from what I could see. I basically on the Flags of War website, they've got some images of some of the banners from the Otterburn period, or the Otterburn battle, and they've got the banner for Archibald Douglas. And so what I've done is taken that idea and sort of just shaped it to fit a shield with freehand painting. Yeah, it's not like as perfect as a Little Big Men studio decal, but I'm pretty pleased with how it came out. I really struggled to get those straight lines and stuff on stars and things like that, but yeah, and the little black sort of trefoil things that are on the banner in the background, and the very distinctive heart. It's it's all based on a real historical coat of arms. So of Archibald Douglas, who was a very well known leader of the Scottish armies in the many wars against England. And for the banner guy to go with him, I've just done a generic cross of St Andrew on that banner. It's kind of it's a bit tricky because it's very stretched and wavy, the actual sculpt, so it was tricky to try to get that to work, but I think it does. I think it's okay. Yeah, you see what I mean? It's all wibbly wobbly and curvy, and obviously somewhat elongated because it's a longer banner. So again, with the pikemen, they should all, once he's got them all together, and each batch has been slightly different from the other with different variations of colour and stuff, but he should be able to mix them all together, so it should look like a pretty decent cohesive force. And yeah, and this chap Archibald Douglas should stand out quite well with his shield. I didn't extend the heraldry onto his surcoat or anything. Often particularly in the earlier period, they didn't always have them on the surcoats. They would have plain surcoats. I certainly know that's the case more in the 13th century, although I believe this battle was in the 14th, so we started to change a bit if you could afford to do it. But it would have been very, very problematic to try and put anything on the front, and that's for sure, because it's all very much concealed behind the shield. So there we go. So I've got a bunch more figures to do for this project, but they'll probably more than likely that might be something for that you start to see, God willing, next year. Maybe December, I don't know. I'll have to take some time off in December for stuff, family stuff and all that. But yeah, here they are. So what I'm going to do, there'll be some stills afterwards. If you've got any questions, pop them down in the old comments and let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. And I'll move these guys off, clear the decks a bit, and just chuck in a little bit more news about a gift I got from my friend and a book I bought. I'll be back directly. Well, this is my second attempt at doing this second half. I said I'm going to clear the decks, blah blah blah. Well, my first attempt was rubbish at doing this bit because I was using a new like a phone holder thing, like a gooseneck bendy one, and I kept moving it. It was rubbish. I made a real mess of it. I need a bit more trial and error with that one before I inflict that on the viewing public. Keep it a bit more still, for one thing. Anyway, I wanted to come back, wanted to show you my mate Darren staying away over there in Auckland in New Zealand. He did send me a box from Gap Games here in Australia, who has some rather good prices for hobby stuff, and he sent me over or down to Tasmania this box. War Games Atlantic, Age of Chivalry, Footnights, 1150 to 1320, 24 multi-part hard plastic figures. Now, most of you probably have seen these before. You've probably seen unboxing sprue reviews, this, that, and the other, and lots of people have already been painting them. This is my first encounter with this set. I have had a number of War Games Atlantic sets in the past. So, very cool, and thanks, Darren. Shout out to you, mate. If anyone's watching and hasn't subscribed to Darren, please go and give him a sub. DARRIN, not EN, and Stanaway, STANAWAY. I think I've got that right. Anyway, hopefully you'll find him if you're not already familiar with him. He's a really good painter, and a nice guy to chat with. So we have some good chats on the emails and the messages and stuff. So yeah, there you go. I've got a box of those. So the plan is hopefully I'll just pick my way slowly through it. Most of my personal projects go very slowly. You might notice way over here, my finger's pointing, I finally got some of my 10mm Napoleonics out onto painting stands, ice lolly or icy pole sticks, and primed them and put a little bit of prime them and put a little bit of like stuff on for their flesh and some washers, but I haven't got much further than that. Oh dear. So yeah, maybe if I take some time off over Christmas and that, I'll have time to do some. I hope so. So yeah, my idea, I don't know if you follow the channel and you remember a while back there was a community post where I was picking people's brains about where you could collect. So like a generic collection that you could then split in half and they could fight each other, and what periods and eras were good for that. Because I tend to have, I tend to get like, I'll paint my favorite side, and then when I start to paint the other side, say, I paint a whole box of British, and then I start to paint the French, and then I lose steam. I don't get them all done. So, but if I paint something that's like generic, then you can split in half, could work better. I can trick my brain into just painting them. And yeah, so we'd probably use these with Lion Rampant, because it's a simpler set of rules, and my brain doesn't do well with complicated rules. But that's a long way off. I haven't painted any yet. I haven't even assembled any. So that's on my to-do list. So thanks again, Darren. Good on you, my mate. So very good. The other thing I bought myself, to help spur me on and fuel the interest, I bought this Osprey title secondhand. English Medieval Knight, 1200 to 1300, because this is the century that I'm most interested in. I like the look of it. It's before plate really became a thing, and occasionally you might get some things on shin guard type things, armor, and you get a lot of great helms, but you also get guys just wearing their coifs, chainmail coifs and stuff. And it's more the sort of classic Robin Hood kind of look period, to my mind. But yeah, I just like the look of it, and there's an awful lot going on, as there is throughout the medieval era. But yeah, there's a lot of different stuff you could fight. So I'm not going to focus on a particular battle. That's not really my plan. I'll sort of do a generic picking from here and there. And Darren also put me on to via Nick the Medieval Wargamer, via his website, some good links to heraldry for this century that I could use for this century. So I can like pick and choose different shield designs I like the look of, and that kind of thing. Because in this period you tended to just mostly get heraldry on the shields, sometimes on the horse caparisons if they had them, but it was usually only like quite well off knights. They tended to more have like plain surcoats mostly. Yeah, so it's been interesting. Because my special knowledge has tended to be around the Anglo-Saxon sort of stuff, the early medieval, and I've got a lot of books on that kind of era, and I've painted a lot of that. I don't actually know as much about this kind of thing, so this was a good introductory book. Plus, the bonus is it's got lovely colour plates by Graham Turner, who does fantastic medieval stuff in particular. So there's some lovely plates and inspiration. And I read it all, and I learned a few things on the way. So that was good. So I've immediately I finished this, and I ordered another Osprey book which hasn't come yet, and that's the the Scottish and Welsh Wars, for this sort of period as well. Well, it covers a broader period, but I think it goes right through to 1400 or something. But this is a big part of it too, because later in the 1200s there was quite a bit going on with Edward Longshanks, and I think and the Scots. See, I don't know my stuff well enough yet. I'm learning. Yeah, wars against the Scots and the Welsh. So yeah, and lots of castle building and things. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having a look at that one. I don't know who did the plates for the other one, but I don't think it's Graham Turner. But nevertheless, they'll be good to look at, and informative to read about, and hopefully can fuel some of that sort of drive to actually assemble and paint some figures. Yeah, I've got another project that's well underway. You may spot some figures at the back of the desk there over to the right. They're the 4 last figures from that project. I've finished a number of them already. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, already in that batch. So, and these guys have all had their base coats. They've and had their washers, and so those figures up the back there, 28mm figures, just going back in and putting everything back on again, building up again. So they're mostly silver bayonet, but not all silver bayonet. So I think there's on the end there's a chap with a pith helmet there and a pistol. He is a pulp miniature, from Pulp Figures range, and there'll be some more of those, that kind of figure later on, maybe December, maybe next year. I don't know. I'll see how we go. But apart from that, I don't think I've got anything else to report. It'll probably come to me later. But I hope you've enjoyed my blather. Hasn't put you to sleep too much. I haven't bought any more paints just lately. I've been trying to hold off. I bought a couple more tubes of odorless super glue, which I find helpful for my sinus problems. The other stuff makes me sneeze. Okay, so yeah, that's about it for the moment. Thanks for watching. Look after yourselves, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now, guys. Bye.